What's the crack? What's the bleeding story? Sorry we're all late. Completely my fault. I'm going out tonight. Had to get the old hair looking fresh. Bit of old brew on the on the old skin. But you be two guests were here. We're waiting not only along with everyone else, so apologies for that. And also, we were trying to get a few slides and stuff like that up to make it look professional. You know what I mean? Look the business. But now I fucked up on that as well, so I'm having a disaster at the moment. And Warren was good enough to get all the slides ready and all. We're talking about the 1991 season, where there was legends. There was no fucking fake tackling or rolling around like Neymar on the ground. Warren, what's the bleeding story? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you? You all right?
All good, mate. All good. And I want to say thanks a million for doing the slides, but I have them up here on my laptop, and we'll try to talk to them and give as much information as we can. Jez, what's happening, man? How are you doing?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Yeah. Nice to have a little break for 2 weeks from the trauma of watching Arsenal, see what's going down there. I don't watch international football, can't stand it, it's boring. So, yeah, it's nice to have a little breakaway and enjoying the lovely sunshine we're having at the moment.
Yeah, what's the weather like over there? I tell you, it's about 15 degrees here it was today. That's why, hence, I'm in the T-shirt here in the bar, you know what I mean? It's sunshine always in Delamead in, yeah?
It's been...
What's the weather like?
Today was yesterday was 19 degrees, caught a bit of sun in the old head, actually. But today was nice, but it was a bit windy today. So even though it was 17, it was probably about 14. But it's been a great week. I've been the wife and I have been taking the old Jag out for
nice.
Been going down the coast, having a run around, driving it. It's lovely. So enjoyed it. Really good.
That's the main thing. So look, we'll crack on with this. I just wanted to, a big up to you, Warren, for doing all these slides and stuff like that. And if anyone hasn't checked out Warren's channel, check it out, because he does it completely different to me. He does a brilliant channel. I'm only fucking winging it here and talking shy. But he actually has layouts and descriptions and stuff like that. It's absolutely class. So Warren's Team Talks, please check him out if you haven't. Warren, we're going to start with the 91 season, right? You probably have the slides up there as well. Do you want to just sort of round off, let's say the sort of squads that Arsenal had at the time? If you want to just shout a few names there and just refresh the memory, because I'm very rusty. I don't know about Jez.
I've got them listed here, actually. Right, so we had David Seaman, Nigel Winterburn, Lee Dixon, Tony Adams, Steve Bold, Andy Linnigan. There was Rocky Rocastle, David Hillier, Anders Limpar, Paul Davis, Michael Thomas, Perry Groves. Wikipedia reckons there was Sigurdur Johnson, but I don't remember him playing that season. But then there was Paul Merson, Alan Smith, and Kevin Campbell. But so that was the squad. I mean, later on as well, if you want me to, we can look at goals scored and appearances and all that carry on.
Well, do you know what? I'm just sort of, as a young fella, all right, I'm just going to start off with Andy Linnigan. Okay. Yeah. What was the story? But what position was his best position that he started in? And what do you sort of remember of him?
I remember him playing as a centre back, but I don't think he played that often. I mean, my memory ain't the greatest. No, to be honest. I mean, but I remember him making appearances as a centre back. But yeah, I mean that's what I remember. I don't think I think he was more of like a backup. Like if one of them got injured.
Yeah, Jez, what do you remember of Andy?
Andy Linnigan?
Yeah.
Well, that was his debut year. Yeah, he was a great player actually. He's fair play. He was a tough nut in that defence. But Warren, you've forgotten a couple of people there, mate. You've forgotten O'Leary and Merson.
No, I just realised that. Yeah, there was O'Leary as well, wasn't there?
How dare you? How dare you come on an Irish stream and say that?
Yeah, Linegan. He's a great player, man. I mean, he wasn't as good as Adams and O'Leary, people like that, but he did a decent job. And fair play to him. I mean, you mentioned, if I dare say, Anders Limpar when he joined from Cremonese that year. I mean, he in midfield was like a rocket. I remember him in that classic game when we beat Liverpool 4-0, and he scored damn near from it was just outside of the Liverpool's half of the centre circle, and it was like, and then quite a few years later, everybody bigged up Beckham for doing it against Wimbledon. Yeah. I thought, like, well, hang about, Arsenal did it before you did, mate. And yeah, but we'll get on to that. But yeah, totally agree with you. And Andy Linegan, mate, was a great player, absolute stalwart. But if you mentioned to the modern day fan who was Andy Linegan, they wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah. Would he get in the team today?
Andy Linegan?
Mm.
Yeah, I would say so. He's better than fucking sight better than Ben White.
That's true enough.
There you go. And I'm just looking now. I have the slides up here now, but I'm just looking. Let's say the first few games. Wimbledon at home. Wimbledon away 3-0. Luton Town. Jesus Christ. 29th of August 1990. I was living in Roscommon, snotty nose on me, and I was looking forward to that was the 1990 World Cup. I remember that I was 8 years of age. This is when I started watching football. Now was this season. So Wimbledon, we bet Wimbledon at home 2-1. 3-0. Luton Town we bet at home 2-1. Then we had Spurs in September, the 1st of September at home. We drew 0-0. Warren, can you remember the old the North London derby back then? Was it as fierce as it is now? If you know what I mean, was it worse back then?
When I was going, right, I always remembered the North London derbies being really well. It was for me. It was like really intense. It was that one, Tottenham, Chelsea, and Man United were the three most intense games for me personally. But I don't remember. I don't remember the games for that season, like 0-0s, because there was two of them. There was a 0-0 at our place, and I think it was 0-0 at the Lane as well. But I just back then because halfway through the season I wasn't able to go anymore because I was in a train crash.
Right.
And I ended up getting a broken leg and loads of other shit that you don't want to know about. And so I remember like back then when I was going regular, like the North London derbies were really intense. I remember there wasn't this season, but I remember being at the League Cup replay at Lane, I think it was, and Tottenham went 1-0 up right near the end of the game, and their PA announcement started coming on the announcement saying that, listen, this is how you can get your tickets for Wembley and stuff like that, and there was still about 10 odd minutes to go or something. Big mistake, because it just, for them, it was a big mistake because it just inspired Arsenal to dig in and come back, and they won the game and we knocked them out. And I remember like walking down to the tube station, and we were all singing all the way down to the tube station. Christ almighty, I don't know what would have happened if we'd been doing that these days, but we walked to go in the tube station, and these two fellas said, well, can't you handle us, or something crazy like that. Yeah, it was mad. And then I remember being at White Hart Lane that season when David Pleat got the sack for curb crawling. And I remember being in the away end, and there was like blow up dolls being slung around and all sorts of stuff. Do you remember that, Jez?
Yeah. You're quite correct. Both league games ended up in 0-0s, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all the times I've ever been to, I've never yet been to the new White Hart Lane Stadium, sadly, but the numerous times I've been to away and home, it's always an intense thing. And the thing is, back in time, and I'm going back like late 70s through the 80s, it was, you know, we had all that nonsense, didn't we, of all the hooliganism, you know, and all that. And it was always a bit of a mercy trip going down the lane, because, I mean, I used to walk back from there with a group, and you just didn't know what was going to happen. It was, you know, it was always a bit of it was scary, to be fair, at times. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, there was times that got involved with nonsense. Not I wanted to, but, you know, you suddenly see a group of 10 or 12 blokes out of your own manor, then, you know, you're going to get it coming in. But hopefully those days don't come back. I've seen some reports that hooliganism is on the increase nowadays, and so we want to nip that straight in the bud. We don't want that back at games. We don't. Want it. It's bollocks. It achieves nothing, and we don't want the game to go back down the road where people were afraid to take their young children to a football match because of what could happen. So, you know, I don't want to be put in the position of not being able to take my 8-year-old grandson to his first football match at the Emirates. So we don't want to hear that. So let's get rid of all that bollocks. But yeah, you're quite right, Warren. You know, the North London derbies they've always been intense ever since the first time I ever went to one. And the funny thing is, my first game I was ever taken to by my granddad. The second game, the fourth game was at home to Tottenham. And even though he lived in Gillespie Road and I lived, my parents in Avenel Road, he wouldn't take me. He said, no, you're not going. And this is back in 1969. He said, no, I'm not taking. Oh, no, you can't go. You can't go. And I said, well, why? The guy obviously didn't know, as a young little kiddie, what was going down. He said, no. He said, no, I'm not taking you. Your mum won't let you go because my mum knew the history and all that. And he said, I don't want you going. And it wasn't till I was probably, it was probably 71, 72 season, I was allowed to go to Arsenal Tottenham at home. I was not allowed to go away, not allowed to go. So, you know, even back then, it was pretty intense. And so, yeah, the anger and the passion's always been there. I mean, everybody says, are they our biggest rivals? No, they're not. there are noisy neighbours. Our biggest rivals for years was Man United. You know, back at this time, 91, and through the 90s, and through again into the 2000s, it was Man United. You know, it was us and them, us and them, us and them. And then obviously we know the story, Chelsea came into it as well. And pretty much after 92, 93, Liverpool had faded away. So it was Arsenal Man U. And it went on for years.
Do you know what I was saying there today? I think I was on someone else's stream or something like that, and I got an awful sort of reaction, but I don't really give a fuck. You know me. Sorry, can you hear me there? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. What I was saying was, like, I couldn't give a bollocks about Spurs. I really, really don't give a fuck, and I blame you. Like, let's say, I'm not blaming. I'm just sort of saying, like, the people that big up Spurs is the people that live in London, let's say, and let's say England or whatever. Because, and I completely understand it. So get me words right. I completely understand it. But to me, living in Dublin, Spurs to me are like Burnley. They're like Leeds United. They're nothing to me, if you know what I mean. Because I don't have, let's say, my neighbour there. Oh, come on, Spurs. You know, so I think more people are making them relevant than they are. Maybe they might challenge us this year for the top 4, but it's a top 4. I'm looking for a title here, not top 4. So it's not really a rivalry to me. Man United, Liverpool, Man City now, they're my rival now at the minute. You know, would you sort of agree with that, Warren, or tell me I'm a fucking idiot?
No. I think Jez is calling them a noisy neighbour is perfect, because it's like an annoying little brother who just won't shut up. Do you know what I mean? It's got all the bravado. It wants to like prove itself all the time, but it's got nothing to shout about. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I look at it. And Jesse's absolutely right. Man United, for years and years and years, we knocked Liverpool off the perch, and then they sort of faded away. And then Man United came in, and we were battling it out with them for the duration, really. And that was what I said about it was intense. Arsenal, Man United, and Chelsea for me was always really, really intense. Because I don't know what it was about Chelsea, but even when they weren't as successful as they were now, I just remember them coming to Highbury and having the old clock end and making loads of bloody noise, and it being for me, it was a really intense atmosphere. I remember I got not attacked, but I got confronted by a Chelsea fan and these two mates in the North Bank, right? Because I was wearing an Arsenal Celtic hat, and he had all these like badges on him from like UDF and like all this crap from Northern Ireland and all this carry on. And so yeah, it was Man United for me was the biggest rival. Chelsea, Tottenham were just a noisy irritant. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I looked at it.
Yeah, no,
and still are.
Yeah, even the way the United supporters say, "Oh, our noisy neighbours." No, they've won a few league titles there only recently, so they're not really noisy anymore. You know, they're a bit of an establishment outfit. Like, you know, they're probably going for Champions League and all sorts of stuff. Like, you know. But look, I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to stick a game out to you, right? And the reason why I'm sticking this game out to you is 15th of September 1990, Chelsea at home in Highbury, 4-1. Now, I'm not expecting you to remember the game, but the reason why, I'll ask you as a question, why did I say that?
I've got no idea. You tell me.
No, I'll tell you, because wasn't Chelsea the team that actually bet us, and it was the only team to beat us that season?
Yep.
And that was away in Stamford Bridge or whatever the fuck they called it back then.
Yeah.
I think, was it 3-2 or something like that?
2-1.
3-1.
3-1, was it?
Was it?
2-1. No, 2-1. 2-1.
2-1.
The only reason they beat us was because we had no defence.
Boy, what happened?
Tony Adams was in prison for drink driving, and the rest of the four out injured. So,
Jesus. That's typical outlook.
You know,
what?
Tony Adams was doing 6 months for crashing his Ford Sierra. Can you Ford Sierra? Can you believe that in these days?
I remember, actually, I don't know if it's in the documentary, but in the 1989 season, when we won the league in Anfield, and Tony Adams, I think, went on a whole bender or whatever, and the next day they were going presenting the cup at Highbury and stuff like that, and getting fans there. But he fell asleep. He went on a whole night bender, and he fell asleep on the Marble Hall on the steps. This is what I heard. Now I'm probably wrong. I don't know, but he fell asleep on the steps, and the guy who opens up the door, "Oh, Tony, your first one here. How are you?" He was there. I didn't even go home. Do you know if that's real or is that just a makeup? Or it wouldn't surprise me.
That's made up, man. Because I can tell you,
probably it's something I do. I'm just going to. Sorry, go ahead.
That's bullshit because the house I lived in as a kid, my parents lived in, was right opposite the East Stand, where the marble halls were, and there's no way. You can't sleep on them steps. No way.
I do know that there were games where he played, that him and Merson played, and they were pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't a one-off occasion either. They would be playing and they'd be out of their heads.
I'd love to know the games, and actually watch it and see if you can notice it,
But I remember there was this one game, I don't know who, I think it might have been away at Anfield, and it was getting a bit feisty. And you see Tony Adams standing there taunting the Liverpool strikers, going, "Yeah, well, come on then, do you want it?"
I love hearing that. That's what you fucking want.
It was bad.
Warren, do you remember? Were you local? Were you local to Islington? Were you?
No, I live in Kent, Jez.
Oh, fair play. Right. If you went down Blesby Road, where the North Bank was, there used to be a pub down. It's gone now. Massive pub, big pub. It was called the Gunnersbury. Mm-hmm. And this is true, right? You quite often see certain Arsenal players in there at 12 o'clock before a match.
Jeez. Oh my God.
Honestly, straight up. Now that pub was there for, oh God, I don't know. My granddad used to go in there and have a pint in the middle 30s, 34, 35 with Herbert Chapman, Cliff Baston.
No way.
Players like that after the game.
Yeah.
And because back then in them days, the players quite often came to the game on the tube at Arsenal tube station, from wherever they're coming. And Herbert Chapman, he used to apparently my granddad told me he used to like his whiskies and his big cigars after a match. And Herbert Chapman in the pub would get around him. However many 100 people were in that pub, he'd get around him.
Bloody hell.
Everybody there. Get them all a drink. And you'd have people like Cliff Baston and all that lot in there after a match. Apparently, Cliff Baston's tipple was a stout, milk stout. There you go. Bit of history for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't know that.
Someone the other day, I saw you on a stream and you were talking about someone smoking woodbines or something.
Oh yeah. That was No, that was oh God, yeah, it was Cliff Baston. Cliff Baston, striker, smoked woodbines. Yeah. It's like back then. It's a totally different game, you know.
Yeah.
You think what those guys were getting paid back then? Hello, Gracie.
Hello.
Getting paid back then. And even I'll tell you now, even in the 70s, right? I was privileged, very privileged, to get to see the 71 double winning season and went to the cup final with my granddad. And I was privileged to have a photograph on the steps of the East Stand with the FA Cup, League Championship, and the Fairs Cup that we'd won in 69-70 with Bertie, me, Charlie George, my granddad and me on my birthday in 71, 31st of May 71. Now, I can tell you, I used to, on match day, as a kid, look out the bedroom window, which is my sister's bedroom window, because I had the bedroom at the back. Because my sister was older than me, she had the bigger bedroom, which pissed me off. But I used to watch, honestly, swear to God, on training days, you could watch the players walk down Avenel Road. Bob Wilson. Yeah, he always used to have his paper under his arm, flat cap, walking down the road, and the guy with his hat on, his uniform, would open the door on the East Stand and let him in. And you know, all these players, Charlie George, Frank McClintock, Radford, all these players. And they'd walk down the road and they'd say, morning, have a chat, people, how you doing? Yeah, shake hands with people, blah, blah, blah. And that was the biggest difference with Arsenal back then, because it was a community club, because they lived locally. They didn't have bloody great mansions. They weren't driving around in Bentleys and Rolls Royces. They used to come on the tube and on the bus. They'd turn up on the bloody bus, you know, because that's how it was. And things now in football, admittedly, have changed. And we can go back and talk about that. 91, classic year, Sky Sports.
Oh, yeah. That's when it started, was it?
Big money coming in, you know, sports,
no,
TV.
I remember Jez, like watching Willie Young make his debut for Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the North Bank getting stuck into him and telling him to get back to Tottenham, right? And Jimmy Rimmer turning round and having a go at us all, telling us to shut up, leave him alone.
That's how it was back then. It's all gone now. I mean, before Gracie jumps in, I just want to relate this one story to you. I went up to last year to a mate of mine's 60th birthday for a weekend, and I went to see a game. Can't remember the game. What was now? Anyway, long story. And I'm walking down Highbury Hill, right down past the old West Stand, and there's a car there, BMW, lovely BMW, right? In the back windscreen, this is right opposite the old Highbury. The car there, Spurs emblem in the back window, right opposite Highbury. Now, if that had been back in the days of Highbury, mate, that car would have been on its roof.
Yeah.
That's how it's changed. I couldn't believe it. I was like, taking a second look at it. I thought, what the fuck? And that's it now. You know, it used to be a community thing. You know, and all, not just Arsenal. It was Tottenham. It was Palace. It was Chelsea. It was Man United, Man City, all around the world, all around, everywhere. And it's changed now. So anyway, there you go. I'll shut up now.
Right, I'll introduce Gracie May. She doesn't need any introduction. What's the bleeding story, Gracie?
Not much. I've been busy, as you can see, a bit of a change of angles here.
That's what I was looking here. Buying the merch.
No, family traditions hold stronger than my Arsenal beliefs, unfortunately. I think something bad would happen at this point if I didn't get the current season, so I'm just going to keep it going.
Yeah.
But no, it's been a busy week, but I'm looking forward to chatting about some football.
Yeah, I know. I'll tell you, it's a release. I know. Like, even though like international football is on, and Ireland are playing Belgium tomorrow in the centenary year of the Republic of Ireland playing football. So I'm trying to bring my son Zach to the game. Like, he's dying to go, and he's at me to go to the Emirates as well and stuff like that. But I'm going in April the 9th because I want to go over on my own. I want to be able to have a few pints in peace and stuff like that, But yeah. Will you be watching any international football this break or whatever you call it?
No, I'm not a massive fan of international football. I basically can't stand the thought of like cheering on someone like Harry Kane or someone that I like hate on a regular basis. That's not it for me. It's like my life is just Premier League, really. I don't watch like any others, and Premier League and Arsenal. I don't tend to watch other games. If Arsenal aren't in it, so no, not for me. I'll watch it with my family, like on big occasions for the country. But apart from that, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. I don't think like international football is really sort of dying down a bit, like really, because it's sort of like it's just a break from, let's say, football, I suppose, But to me, like we're shit at the minute, Ireland. We've a young team, I suppose, coming through, and maybe they might do something, and then we get into it. Like the Irish people always, if it's throwing shoes down a bowling alley and it's a new competition and Ireland have entered it, everyone will know about the competition. You know what I mean? That's the way that the whole, like Conor McGregor says, if we one goes to war, we all go to bleeding war. I'm sorry for hurting people's ears. Not everyone likes Conor McGregor. But here, we'll move on. We're just talking about the 1991 season. Were you around at that time, Tracy?
I don't think I was even a thought at that point. No, no, I was born in 2005, so we're talking quite a long time.
Oh my God! Well, yeah, we're just sort of like I'm looking at the league table here in September. And take it. I'll let you all take it. Well, hold on. Actually, this is what I wanted to actually say to both Warren and Jez. The reason why I'm asking them two is, what was the feeling going into that season, Warren? Like, expectation. Like, because let's say the start of this season, I'm sure Gracie will be the exact same as myself. We had no, we're not winning the league, basically. After the 1989 season, was there sort of, right, let's try and push on and kick on and win the league again. And, the 1990-91 season, what was the feeling sort of with Arsenal fans?
Yeah, but I remember the season after 89 when we didn't win the league, I was felt really deflated because I expected us to kick on and batter everyone again. And when it didn't happen, I remember feeling and then when this new season started, I just thought, right, okay, so let's try and get it bloody back and show everyone that we are great and all the rest of it. But it was difficult because I don't live, and I never have lived in and around Islington, right? I used to go with a group of fellas, and we some came from 10 miles up the road, others came from somewhere else, some came from Brixton, and we all stood in one particular part of the North Bank, and so it was always very difficult for me to be able to gauge what the feeling was amongst the supporter group until the days when the fanzines used to come out. You know, there used to be these like magazines that got sold outside the ground that were made and produced by supporters. It was a bit like a YouTube thing, but it was on paper, like a magazine. So until then,
What was it called?
a fanzine,
All right, yeah.
and it was like a magazine written by supporters, Jez, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I used to really like them, right, because it made me feel closer to the rest of the supporters, because where I lived in Kent, there were some Arsenal fans, but we weren't the biggest supported club out here.
That's where I live now. I live in Kent now.
Right, okay. So it was Chelsea, and Spurs mostly, where I lived. But but for me, I remember after the '89 season, I felt really disappointed, and also because we didn't get a chance to go in the European Cup, because we were, as a collective, we were all banned from Europe because of the hooliganism, right, and the Heysel disaster. So I wanted us to go and win it again, so that we could try and go and win the European Cup. Because my big thing has always been that I want to see Arsenal win the Champions League, or then it was the European Cup. That's what, because we never ever done it, and like Jess always said, we're crap in Europe, to be quite frank. You know, I've seen us lose more times than win, actually, to be frank. You know, but so. Yeah, that was what I felt. I just wanted to go and win it so that we could have another crack at it.
Jez, what can you remember of that season, sort of thing? Like, you know, were you? I know we had the hangover, as Darren just put it there, from let's say the previous season. What was there hope for you that we could go and do something in the '91 season?
Absolutely. Yeah, no question. You know, the team was fired up. We had some great players. Rocky Roadcastle. We just got in Limpar. Seaman made his debut. David Hillier, a player that had massive potential, unfortunately went off the rails latter time in life. Let's get it right. You know, that result we had against, you know, beat stuffing Spurs, Liverpool 4-0. You know, and to nearly go invincible, all bar it, the fact that we had the whole back four out for one game, was so sad. And it had to be to Chelsea. Now, yeah, I honestly thought that we could have kicked on from there. I really do. Sadly, it didn't happen. But that's the Arsenal way, isn't it? How many years have we seen that one? It was disappointing, man. It was disappointing. I mean, the atmospheres, Warren will remember, you know, in the North Bank, that year was phenomenal. Having come from what we did in '89 at Anfield, and then cracking into this, you know, and I still say to this day, and I will say it, that team to me, was better than the Invincibles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. The '91 team.
It was one game away, and that was because we had the whole back four out for one game. A back four that was so solid. Yeah, we all know, you know, the old stance. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Boring Arsenal. Okay, yeah, boring Arsenal. Yeah, but we won and won and won. And let's get it right. Arsenal won more games that season than the Invincibles did. We had more draws in the Invincible season than that season. So that that says a hell of a lot.
I mean, and if you look at the final league table, right? We scored 74 goals in 38 games that season. Right? And we only conceded 18 goals for the whole season.
Yeah.
It's mad. It is absolutely mad. And Jez is 100% right when he said that team were much better, were better than the Invincible team. I completely agree. I think they're way better.
I remember at the time when I was only a young fella now at the time, and at like I'm talking about, I was about 8 or 9 or something at this time, and my friend supported Man United or something, and I remember Arsenal are crap and stuff like that. And the magazine, I think it was Shoot or Goal or something like that, it was called in Ireland, and I had all the league table and the stats and stuff like that, back then. And I was sort of upset. I was there, how dare he sort of say Arsenal are shit and all this. And then I was looking at the goals conceded, and it was only a few at the time of this part of the season. And I was just there, oh my God, Arsenal must have the best defence and goalie in the world, because there was only a few goals conceded at the time. But they actually went on the whole season consistently good in defence. You don't really get that anymore. You always have a few silly results and stuff like that. It's were the back four that good, and were you concerned when Steve Bold went, who'd fill the void of him leaving?
I was, but I had trust in that George would sort it out, given that he'd recruited him in the first place and made a rough diamond into a smooth diamond. And the thing is, that back four, it was regarded, and I think it's still fair to say it is probably the best back four in the history of English football, along with the Chelsea one. The
Chelsea and United, Vidic and Ferdinand, I think, as well, are pretty much up there as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, as well, there was a lot of talk. I don't know if Jez remembers this, but at the time, there was a lot of talk about the England national team should have planted that whole back four and the goalkeeper into the England team.
Italian 90, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, hold on, Warren, I'm going to stop you there, right? I 110% agree with you. But why the fuck did he not do that? Jez, can you answer that? I'm giving that to you, mate. Why the fuck did England not? Because I remember at the time, because Ireland played England in 1990 and we drew 1-1. Andy Sheehan, I think, scored for us to make it. Lineker scored for you. It's an Irish thing. We'll remember these things. But I remember that, and I was there at the time going, why the fuck is Arsenal's back four? Because after me studying, at the time there was no internet or anything like that, and after studying the league and the stats, and I was just there going, the goalie and the back four are unbelievable. Why the fuck are they not in the whole England team? Just put them in the back five.
Well, one of them, unfortunately, at the time was David O'Leary, so he's Irish. And wasn't Tony Adams injured?
Was he? Yeah, for the 1990 World Cup.
He would have. Was he when he was in jail, Jez?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, well, he had other things to do, I suppose.
He was. So.
Warren and Dixon.
Because they could
I
have.
don't think internationally. Be honest with you, I don't think it would have worked. Be fair, I don't. I mean, look, I'm not a great advocate of international football. To be fair, I find it boring. I'm not interested in it, so I never take a great amount of interest. So, I don't really. I do remember a bit of Italian 90. but doesn't float my boat. It's like international football. I ain't watching it. Be fair.
Well, I'm gonna go to Gracie here because I like asking questions to all panel members.
Well, give me 15 minutes, mate. I've got 20 minutes. I've got to pop out and pick the wife up, and I'll be straight back. All right?
Yeah, no problem at all. Cheers, mate.
I'll bump out and I'll be back. Yeah, all right.
No problem. No problem. Gracie, I'm just gonna ask you this right now. Don't worry, it's not 1991, so don't worry. I'm going to ask you, because it's we're Hall of Faming everyone. Mikel Arteta, Hall of Fame for Best Manager. Just give it to him now. Fuck the team, just give it to Arteta. He'll sort it out. But, let's say, the current squad, who do you think could go into the Hall of Famer? And it can be the likes of the young players at the minute if they can be consistent. So who would you, in 10 years' time, when you can just go, you'd be sitting on a rocking chair, doing your knitting and stuff like that. Oh, I remember talking to Del Boy, Gunner and Warren.
I can't lie, I think that's me now, not in 10 years. That's what I do now.
So I'll let you have two players at the minute. So think about it.
Gosh. I think Aaron Ramsdale could go all the way. 100%. And I think it's difficult. It's very. I think Smith Rowe. I feel like I know I've named 2 England players, but I think he could be up there, definitely.
Yeah, I love his passion and his I love that about a player. I think I would have said this is what, and Warren, I'll let you have a go as well. I'd say Martinelli. And I'm going to say, even though I think I've done a stream about him, giving out about him not scoring enough goals, but Saka, I just think he is going to be, at the minute.
Of course. I can't I forgot about Martinelli then.
Yeah, yeah.
No, he's up there, yeah.
I think he's going to be a superstar, and he's not going to be with us for long, but I'm just going to enjoy his football and while he's here, Warren, who would you pick if you had 2? And people in the chat as well, who would you guys pick?
What, to go in a Premier League Hall of Fame?
No, the Hall of Fame now. So let's say in 10, 15, 20 years' time, who do you think would be in the Hall of Fame from the Arsenal current team? Oh, Jesus Christ. Here. Get him out.
No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking. Not a chance. If there's a Hall of Shame of shit footballers, yes. But otherwise, not a chance. But seriously, I'd say definitely Martinelli. I think I can't remember the last time I saw a player with that much talent and potential. I think if we had a proper manager, like a Conte or someone like that, he could be as high as Neymar or someone like that. I really do believe it, because I think the kid has got so much talent. It's frightening. I worry that we're not going to be able to hold on to him. I really do. But number one, if he gets to come back, would be William Saliba.
Oh, good choice. Yeah.
But it's whether or not we're going to get him back. I've heard some worrying stories that he's not that concerned about coming back. That if he gets to stay in France, where is it? He's at Marseille, isn't he? Yeah, that he's going to be happy to stay there, and that concerns me.
Yeah, it does. And it's a good shout, because I've actually this week, when I got a bit of time, I actually started. Now I hate judging players by YouTube clips and shit like that. I'd rather watch games and view them. There was just a lot of talk about him this week, and I just said, right, I have to have a look. I'll have a look. And geez, he's a big man, isn't he? And he's solid, and he's a great defender. He looks he looks exactly what we need at the minute. And I think him and Gabriel would be strikers would fear them. Just put it that way, Gracie, do you think that, let's say, if Mikel brings him back, will he slot him straight back in beside Ben White, Gabriel, or do you think he'll have to earn his stripes?
I don't see him coming back, but if he was to come back, I think it would be still very difficult for him to get into the team for some reason. You see the partnership between Ben White and Gabriel. It's whether Arteta would split that up, which is very unlikely. I mean, we all know he's set in his way and he makes an opinion on players if he hasn't seen them play that much in actual game situations. It definitely would not be easy at all for him to he wouldn't waltz back into the squad, let's say like Granit Xhaka. It would be difficult. And I think one of the reasons why he probably won't come back is because he won't get the game time.
This is
Which
it.
is unfortunate.
Sorry, Warren, can you see the way the banner thing is up there on the screen? I think you can take that off there, can you?
What's that? Sorry, say that again?
See the banner thing up on the screen? I think you clicked that up there earlier on. If you can take it off. If you can, you can. If you don't bleed and worry about it.
Okay, hold on.
But I'm just going to kick on. So, I seen a picture there. I don't know if you've seen it, Gracie, of Martinelli when he arrived at the Brazil sort of, and I had the Brazilian badge. I was just there going, oh, this is the start of it. His world recognition is going to be going through the roof. And I don't even know who Brazil are playing. Do you at the minute? But I'm sure he's just going to run.
Oh, that boy's gone.
Yeah, I'm sure he's just going to play really well, and there's going to be clubs circling around him. This is the thing, Can you see him staying beyond this? Can he do a contract extension or anything like that?
I think it's a massive worry that we have to think about at the moment, the possibility of another team coming in for him and him taking that option. I think it does depend on where we finish and what we're going to be trying to compete for next season. Is a massive factor, and he's become a starting player for us, which has changed. So hopefully he'll say. I can see him staying because at the moment it's built around the youth, right? So there's that whole thing there, and if he's like center of that, I see him staying. But for me, it all depends. All depends what we're trying to compete for, because players want to play at the elite and not, just Premier League football and winning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's I just think it's so important to, let's say, finish up as high as we can, I suppose, this season. And I know everyone's there sort of, it's third or fourth loser and stuff like that. I understand that, but I just think for the younger players to experience the Champions League, like if I was Saka, if I'm Smith Rowe, Martinelli, I would be looking, if I find their agent, I'd be looking to push them into a Champions League team. If Arsenal make the Champions League, stay where you are. Stay there, learn your trade for another 2 or 3 years, and then we'll go and try and get you a big move if Arsenal are not challenging for the league title. So I think this next 2-3 seasons is huge for Arsenal as a football club, because if it doesn't work out, your project youth now and your process and whatever the fuck you're calling it is in the bin. It's completely gone. There's no, we've wasted another 2 or 3 years. So they have to sort of get things going. Do you think we will get things going, Warren?
No.
No,
because I don't think they're going to get rid of Arteta. And I think this is the crux of the problem. It's him, Vinay, Edu, and the owners are the ones that and our supporters are holding the club back. We're not going to kick on and be able to compete unless those idiots are out of the club. Because like I said about Martinelli earlier, I firmly believe that if we had a proper manager, these young players like Saka, and Smith Rowe and Tierney and all these other players would have kicked on much more than they have. Kieran's come down from Celtic. He looked absolutely immense when he first come. Then his form's really dipped. And you have to wonder why that was. And I think it's Arteta's coaching. I just don't think, and his tactics as well, and I don't blame these players at all. I'm not one bit. I think it's all down to his tactics. And I think he hasn't got a clue about how to set a side up to attack. I think he's a very negative, conservative coach. I think he'd be good, like coaching, no disrespect to him, but like coaching a team that have just come up from the Championship to try and get them to stay in the league. I think it would probably work quite well there. But to try and get a team to go and play on the front foot, I think it's a recipe for disaster. Because you look at it, all our forward-thinking players, none of them have done well under him. Not one of them. And you have to think, well, why is that? You had Aubameyang and Lacazette scoring goals for fun under Unai Emery, and yet they can't score a goal for toffee under this manager.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just gonna I think, Gracie, you have to shoot now, don't you? Do you have any plans coming up, or do you want to shout out anything?
Yeah, I do. Tomorrow at 7 p.m, I'm on Lee Gunner's channel, and I am the quiz master for the quiz with Jenny. I keep saying after I say Jez, I say it together. It's Kenny and Jez. My brain just gets muddled. So I'm the quiz master. So it's going to be great. And then I won't be live on my channel now until Tuesday for the All Things Arsenal podcast with Jez Northside and Fuad. So I'm quite busy this weekend, so I'm trying to fit everything in. But I've been filming all week. People wonder why I'm so busy all the time, so I thought, well, I'm gonna have to show them. So in the international break, I've got a week in my life going on. So that's what's happening over on my channel.
That's great. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be watching that tomorrow. I'll probably be watching it with a sore head. I'm supposed to be doing a live stream tomorrow morning with Ola at about 12 o'clock. So I'm hoping I don't have too many Guinness tonight and I'm okay to get up. But if I don't, just can all laugh at me. I'll be dying. Well, look, Gracie, mate, thanks a million for coming on. I really appreciate it. I love having you on my channel, and you're welcome anytime you want.
Thanks. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks.
And if no one subscribed to Gracie for some stupid fucking reason, excuse the language, get on it, yeah? Come on, wake up. Thanks, Gracie.
Big up. See you soon.
Take care, mate. Warren, I'm going to continue on with our 91 season. And Darren goes here. Bobby Robson favoured Des Walker over Adams.
Yeah, but this is it, isn't it? This is what I don't understand. You've got 4 players, right? Lee Dixon, Steve Bold, Tony Adams, and Nigel Winterburn, and then David Seaman, the goalkeeper, playing together week in, week out. The communication is there. The understanding is there. They know how each other plays. They know what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are. They know where they're going to be on the pitch. They know everything about their games, inside out. George Graham, Adam drilled day in, day out. He'd spend hours and hours with them on the training ground. So why not just pick them up and plant them in the England national team? Because when Alf Ramsey won the World Cup in '66, he had your man who managed the Republic. What was his name?
Jack Charlton.
Jack Charlton. He picked him, and he turned around to Jack Charlton and he said, "Listen, don't think I'm picking you because I think you're the best centre half." He said, "I'm picking you because you're the best one to do the job that I want you to do. Not because I think you're the best. And you're the best one to do the job that I want the team to do in this system. Not because you're I think you're the best centre half, one of the two best centre halves in the country. And that's what I don't understand. And I never understood about it. Why they didn't just pick that back five up and just plant them in the England national team. I never was able to work it out. This didn't make any sense to me. Even though the Des Walker probably was a better centre half than Steve Bold. I debate whether he was better than Adams, but then I do remember seeing Adams getting destroyed by Van Basten in the European Championships, and it took Adams about a year to get over it. It absolutely murdered him. But mind you, at the time, Van Basten would destroy any centre half. For me, he was the best. He's the best centre forward I've ever seen by a mile. It was incredible, mate.
He was quality. I remember seeing him as well, and he stood out to me, and I was only a bleeding kid when I was watching him, you know what I mean? I just want to say there's 19 people watching now, so please go and subscribe to Warren's Team Talks. Don't fucking mind me, because Warren, I'll tell you, over there, he does all the slides and stuff like that, and it's great to watch. Like, you know, he does up-to-date stuff and everything like that. I'm only a fucking idiot. I don't even know what I'm doing here, and there's shit all over the gap here. So please bear with me, you know what I mean? But yeah, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Like, you know what I mean? It's not easy doing all this stuff, you know. But check out Warren's Team Talks and like and subscribe, please, if you don't mind. I'm just gonna add this gentleman in here, back in. So we're just I'm just gonna go on to I'm gonna talk about April 4th, okay, 1991. Okay, Warren, I'll give this to you. Who do you reckon was on top of the league?
What date?
In April 1991.
Would have been us, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you're right, yeah. Arsenal, then Liverpool. Arsenal 65 points. Now it says here deducted 2 points. What was the deducted? Why would he deduct the 2 points?
That was because of a massive brawl at Old Trafford.
Oh, fuck,
look on the slides. I put something on the slides about that match at Old Trafford. We beat Manchester United 1-0. Anders Limpar scored the winning goal. And then in the game, there was a 21-man brawl. Every single outfield, every player, except for one of the goalkeepers, I can't remember if it was the United keeper or Dave Seaman, didn't get involved. But all that happened was that 2 Arsenal players got booked and 1 United player did. But
was it a foul on Winterborn or something like that? Was it? I'm trying to remember.
Winterburn was a massive wind-up merchant, and I don't know whether it was him that instigated it, but I know that there was an FA Cup match at Highbury, but I can't remember if it was before 91 or after. We played United. We were 2-1 up with about 5 minutes to go. United got this penalty. McClare went forward to take the penalty. Winterburn stepped up and said something in his ear to him, and McClare missed the penalty. Whether it was a hangover from it or it was something that started the brawl, I can't remember whether it was before or after, but I remember it because I was at the game. And McClare missing the penalty. I think he blazed it over the bar, didn't he, Jez?
Yeah, it was Nigel Winterburn went up to Brian McClare.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. He said something, didn't he? And it all kicked off from there. And it was the only player that wasn't involved in that was David Seaman. And yeah, I remember I was there, and it was like absolutely. And then
was it in Old Trafford? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then. I mean, I remember watching a video after the end of the season when Arsenal won, and it was a bit like what Amazon are doing now on Arsenal, you know, whole season review. And I remember the classic statement from George Graham, when he turns around and he says, lads, discipline. Don't worry about the fans. I'll get the fans behind us. But you've got to show discipline. And I remember the camera pans to the likes of Adams and all that, and you can see smirks on their faces. Like, they're like, yeah, all right, George, but we're the Arsenal and we'll do what we got to do. And that's the difference now. That is the difference, isn't it? Is that, classic statement. Tony Adams. I forget the new player it was. It wasn't. It was when Arsene Wenger was there, and he's like, "Don't listen to him. You listen to me. Whatever he's told you, forget it. You listen to me." It was a Tottenham game. And he was like, "We're going to Tottenham, biggest game of the season, and you listen to what I tell you. Don't listen to what he tells you. You listen to me." And that's the way it was. That's when we had true leaders at the club. And I sadly, honestly, can't say in our current team we have a true leader. We don't. Lacazette, as a captain, waste of fucking time. The Bamia captain was a waste of time. When we had Vieira, the likes of Vieira, Adams, characters, strong characters. Players listened to them and they respected them. Sadly, in my book, my view, we don't have players that respect Lacazette. They don't respect that absolute arsehole Xhaka. And they certainly didn't respect Aubameyang. So that is a major problem. And I honestly do believe that a lot of the players don't respect the manager, Arteta. I don't. Because at the end of the day, Arteta's, what's he achieved? One FA Cup. And a community field. A charity game. At least you have to show some respect to what George Graham achieved when he came from Millwall, when you have to respect what Wenger achieved, and you have to respect the manager, Emery, who had more experience and had won a damn sight more than Arteta ever has. And yet, God knows how many hundreds of thousands out there are calling that Arteta is the next great manager. He's the greatest young manager in world football. Why? How? Tell me. The other night, I was having a great debate with, I think it was in your chat a minute ago, before I had to go, unfortunately, on North Side London. And I respect everybody's opinion. My opinion's mine, somebody else's is theirs. So I'm not going to disrespect them for it. But the amount of abuse was unreal that Kenny and I got after the player ratings and fan cams we did last weekend. Because when Arsenal win, all the little trolls, all the little 14-year-olds, all the little fucking virgins who are sitting in their mum's back rooms, still sucking on their mum's tits, sticking to their bed sheets each morning because they've had one off better. And yet they come on and want to abuse lifelong fans like Kenny and I, yourself, Warren. You guys don't get the abuse, and Lee. Now, Lee attracts major traction because he's upfront, he's straight, he's honest. He don't give a shit what he says. And I don't give a shit what I say. And I don't give a shit what these little muppets think of me. But the facts, I'm not on Twitter, so I didn't see all the crap going on. But I was being told by people, "Oh God, gee, you're over Twitter. You're over Twitter." Well, I don't give a fuck, I'm 60 years of age, and I seriously don't give a shit. You know, I've had people call me out. I had one little muppet 2 weeks ago. I'm going to smoke you. I'm going to fucking smoke you. You know, I'm like, right, okay, fair enough, mate. You don't think I've been in shit situations before in my life? You know?
Yeah.
I've been in some proper fucking rumbles at football. And, you know, so you can sit there and fake it out. Unless you're standing in front of me and want a piece of me, then shut the fuck up. You know, it ain't gonna happen. You know, I had another guy tell me, don't ever come to the Emirates anymore because the mob will get you. I was like,
the mob, no.
I said, who the fuck's the mob then? Who's the mob? And they're like, the mob. I said, well, name a few. Name a few fucking names. I probably know them. Like, they're probably 14, 15, 16. You know?
On their electric scooters.
Yeah. I said, I know some proper fucking nasty bastards, you know? I used to go to games with them. You know,
Yeah.
fucking idiots. Yeah? And, like, you know, I've been there, done it. Not like intentionally, but unfortunately. Back in time, fortunately, you got called into it because somebody comes to you go at them. But that's the way life was. And let's hope to God that never comes back into this game. And it's just bullshit. What, you know, just because you, Warren, you, Del, Darren in the chat, Joanne, Craig Malloy, all because, you know, if you've got a different opinion about certain things, why do people have to give so much hate? Why? It's, you know, like Statics just put there, the haters never learn, man. They never learn. They don't, because they're stupid little pricks that sit at home, you know, got no life. They never see the sunshine, you know, and they're sitting in a little box room all day long on their computers, going around looking at every play that Arsenal are ever going to be linked to in the transfer window, tweeting it out there, talking absolute fucking bollocks. And the funny thing is, when you go and look at these people, they all subscribe to the same channels. AFTV, yeah, all that sort of bollocks. And they are sheep because they cannot command their own opinion of what they believe because their brains haven't fully developed. They want to be popular with the masses. They want to get likes on Twitter like it's going to change their fucking lives, and it ain't. And they think they are going to be the new journalists, yeah? And it's fucking laughable, man. You know, the hate you get because you trigger them. And I just sit there, I fucking laugh. I sit there, laugh. I chat to Lee and Kenny offline on our group that we're in, and we just sit there fucking wetting ourselves because you got people calling out Kenny, right? Ever met Kenny?
No, yeah, I've spoken
The fucking Man Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'd take your fucking head off. I wouldn't want to go.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
You know, he's a fucking monster. He'd rip your fucking head off. He'd pick me up by one hand, smack me on the head, put me on my head in a dustbin. You know, I mean, it's just pathetic. It's so, oh dear God, I mean, what is so sad about these people? They got to call people out, threaten them, and never follow it up.
Yeah, like it's all talk, no action. You know what I mean? That's the way it is.
I don't think I've ever had anyone threatening me. I've had people coming in, like, responding to comments I've made or putting comments in my videos, being absolutely making ridiculous comments. Like, someone the other day was trying to tell me that Odegaard was a better player than Zidane ever was. And and Unai Emery, when he was manager at Arsenal, was absolutely clueless. And I put a comment back to this person saying,
I'll be back in 1 second, lads. Keep it on there.
We managed to get us to a European final.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And the thing what you said about Arteta not having respect from the players, Jez, it reminds me a lot of what happened to Roy Hodgson when he was at Liverpool, because I think that was a big problem for him there, that the players just didn't respect him, did they?
No. And I just don't get the fact, Warren, that why, all this crap you hear, I've heard that Emery wasn't any good because he couldn't speak English properly. Really? Are you sure? Because he said, good evening. Well, who gives a fuck? He's a proven manager. And he got Arsenal to the European Europa Cup final, and Arsenal didn't turn up.
Exactly.
Simple as that. Is that his fault? He picked the right team, in my opinion, but Arsenal that night were fucking shit. And okay, let's counter that argument. Nottingham Forest, FA Cup this year. What team was rubbish more in those two games?
Yeah.
I would say Arsenal at Nottingham Forest. They were absolutely fucking pony. One of the worst Arsenal football team displays I've ever seen in 53 years. That's proper shit.
That Jez, like when you're talking about that there, that is the most angry I've been this year. Like, well, in a season, we'll call it a season, yeah, not the year because it's only 3 months. It was the most angry I've been because they were fucking pathetic. They absolutely thought they were going to go out and absolutely annihilate Nottingham Forest. Like, how it comes down to, I'll blame Arteta for that, because you're not getting the players in the right frame of mind and say, hold on a minute, it doesn't give a shit what league they're in or anything like that. You have to respect your opposition. They didn't respect the opposition. They weren't let out properly.
Sorry, is that to me?
Yeah, no, I'm just going to go with Warren. What did you make of that sort of performance as well, the Nottingham Forest, since we're talking about it? How did you feel?
I was furious. I was absolutely furious because it was just completely abject. Do you know? It reminded me, when I think back of it was worse even than some of the performances that we had in 81, 82. Do you know what I mean? Because I remember going to Highbury and my dad took me, because I was about 14, 15 at the time, I think. And he just said to me, they're not playing as a team, they're just playing as little groups of individuals. Like, he said that they'd play it in a group of 3. But this was even worse. They just seemed to have no idea, no pattern, no strategy. There was no desire, nothing. There was nothing there. It was just awful. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I still don't think that Arteta is able to set the team up to attack properly. I don't. I just, like, whenever I've seen them play, I mean, they look, when we get attacked, we look like we're fragile. I mean, that game against Watford, when we conceded we conceded 3 goals. I'm not convinced about Ben White. I think he's a liability. I think Xhaka's a liability. But yeah, that performance against Forest, it was awful. Do you know what I mean? It was absolutely shocking. I don't know whether the players felt they didn't have to. They did.
Joe, you're that's a good one.
I don't know if they just thought that they just had to turn up on the pitch and it was going to be fine. Do you know what I mean? I mean, my dad was from Scotland, right? And I remember him absolutely going ballistic the night that Scotland drew 1-1 with Iran. And the performance was shocking, like really bad. And that was the sort of feeling I had about that Forest game. It was similar. It was just terrible. Do you know what I mean? They just didn't have any. I don't know. It's just nothing there. I just don't know what else to say about it, mate.
I want to go off that topic because it really does like that to me, because I love the FA Cup. I love the FA Cup, and to disrespect it like that really fucking pissed me off. And I'm gonna park that away because it's Friday night and let's everyone celebrate and we're happy. Let's be happy. We go back to 91. Someone said there earlier in the comments, and I want to put it to the two of you, right? Lampard or Overmars? Who would you have in your team? I know, it's a tough. I'll go with you guys. You look calm there. What do you think?
Overmars.
Yeah. Warren, you're still thinking.
I am, because it's hard.
I'll go Overmars because he was just unbelievable.
But
He's so
class. He was. It was. I think I'm slightly edging towards Overmars. Just that there's not much in it because I really like Limpar.
He was, because I'm just even looking at stats here. Like, he scored a lot of goals for the left winger.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, was he a record signing when we signed him, or there was something about the signing, wasn't there?
Where did we get him from?
Who?
Limpar.
Came from Grusinese in Italy.
Yeah. Because he scored that season. He scored 13 goals. He was like our third highest goal scorer. So it was almost like a 1 in 3 strike rate he had.
Darren's going for Limpar. It's a good question. You know, like from looking at his stats here, and I sort of can't remember him, but yeah, like, you know, just looking at his stats here, they're phenomenal. But I just think for me, because it was my era and sort of growing up and stuff like that, that Overmars for me was just unbelievable. And I'll never forget the goal he scored in the semi or in Wembley when he scored the goal against Newcastle. I think he best Shea given on the near post. It was absolutely a great goal. Lampard could.
The reason I'd go with Limpar. Sorry, dare I say, Overmars. Limpar was a great player. I mean, I saw him have an amazing game away at Palace. He was outstanding in that particular game, and he hit the post. He hit the bar. He hit the post twice. He hit the bar once. It was a 0-0 game. That was probably 92, 93. But for me, Mark Overmars' technical ability in passing was levels above Limpar. He had this ability to know exactly where. It was like he had eyes in the back of his head. He had this ability to be able to pass the ball on a sixpence to the players around him. And that created so many goals for Arsenal. And the goals he scored. I mean, he was such a whippet that he could just literally magic a goal out of nothing. Limpar was very similar. Can't deny it. Can't deny that at all. But for me, the one thing that gives it to Overmars is his ability to literally put a ball on your left or right toe. And out of that, so many goals, assists, if you want to call it, that he gave the Arsenal strike force was second to none in my book. Apart from, dare I say it, Dennis Bergkamp, of course.
Yeah, he's just on a different level to everyone else. I'm just going to read out here what Darren says. Lampard could do an extra cream, ordinary stuff, more skillful. He lobbed the Liverpool keeper from the halfway line, 4-0 win. And Manny, big up Manny. Darren, was that Grobler? He always had a bit of a liability. I think, was it Grobler? Did he chip him from the halfway line? I'm trying to...
Yeah, he did, yeah. It was Grobbelaar,
yeah. I remember now, yeah. Jesus Christ. What a goal, you know.
No, hang on. Was it a Hooper? Was it
oh yeah, Darren there, look. Think it was Hooper, yeah, Lobs. Darren says it was Hooper.
All right, fair play. He might be right there.
I always thought, but the Grobler was known to come out as well, wasn't he? He has got chipped a few times.
Was it Hooper? I don't know.
The thing about Grobler, he used to like go and walk about quite a lot, didn't he?
That's what it was, yeah.
And there was always that there was the allegations that he tried to throw matches and he was involved in betting scandals.
That's right, yeah. I remember that.
But he was a great keeper, mine. But it's just he had these moments of madness, a bit like Granit Xhaka, really.
And I'm just going to go on here, right, to the league table. I'm just looking at the league table. Even after being deducted 2 points, Arsenal finished the league on 83 points. Liverpool were second on 76 points. Now, here's a tough one. Because, can you name who came third and fourth that season? Because we're coming third or fourth this season, so it's so important. You should know these guys. There's a question for you, Jez. Warm you up for tomorrow night. Who came third and fourth? 2 teams.
Third and fourth?
Third and fourth, yeah. I'll give you a hint on one of them.
No, it's Palace and Leeds United. Palace third, Leeds United fourth.
Oh, fuck's sake. How did you get that? Fucking hell. How did you know that?
Oh, I remember it, man.
Jeez.
Yeah, because Palace that year were a right tough setup. And Leeds United, they gave us a bit of a run in a couple of games, to be fair. So I do remember that, and I think, if I remember rightly, fifth.
Yeah.
Was it Man United, I think?
No, the other one.
Oh, Man City. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because Man City got 62 points. Man United got 59 with 1 point deducted.
Right. Yeah.
That season we had 4 games against Leeds in the FA Cup, didn't we?
Yes.
Because that was another reason that was mooted about why we lost that game against Chelsea, because they'd had a whole week to prepare for the game, and we'd had this really grueling FA Cup clash with Leeds. It had gone over 4 games before we finally knocked them out, because then it wasn't like one match, then a replay and a penalty shootout and it was settled. It would just go on and on and on until someone won. There was like...
Yeah, it's at Filbert Street, the replays. I remember going.
Eh?
The old Leicester City ground, Filbert Street.
Yeah.
Filbert, yeah. That's where Dennis Bergkamp scored that wonder goal. your man Elliot, was it Northern Ireland fella? Remember the ball came over his top and he just took it onto his toe. The whole defence went that way. Bergkamp just came in, boom.
Yeah, that was God, I remember that. I didn't go to all the replays. I went to 2 of them at Filbert Street. I couldn't go to all of them because of work commitments, but yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was a nightmare. That was Lee Chapman and do you remember Lee Chapman?
Yeah.
Gordon Strachan.
Yeah.
Were they in that Leeds team? Yeah, they were, weren't they?
Yeah.
I remember that. Strachan was a great player.
Oh, Darren's just put it in there now. Lee Chapman, he was married to that actress, wasn't he? In that Men Behaving Badly. Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come here, who won the FA Cup this year? Arsenal got to the semi-finals, lost the Spurs 3-1.
It was Spurs, wasn't
Yes,
yeah.
Spurs knocked us out 3-1.
3-1, yeah. Did they go on to win it?
3-1, they knocked us out.
Yeah. Did they win the cup that year?
Yeah. 91.
Yeah. They would have a good team.
the year that Gascoigne got carried off? Wasn't it he got carried off on a stretcher? And if he hadn't got carried off, he would have been sent off.
Yeah, he did his crucial ligament, didn't he?
Yeah.
Went in against can't remember now.
Forest.
Yeah, it was Forest. I can't remember the player.
Was it Gary Charles?
Oh, I can't remember, man. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one for you now. Who was in the 91 season? Who was Arsenal's top goal scorer?
Who?
Who was Arsenal's top goal scorer?
What, 91?
Yeah.
Alan Smith.
Yep. Can you take a guess how many goals? Some fucking. No. Warren.
I've got it in front of me, but I'm not going to look. I'd say it was about 27.
Yeah, 27. And the next nearest to him was. Go on, I'll let you guess what, Jez. Second highest.
He was third.
Oh.
What Merson was it?
Yeah, Merson. 16 goals.
Merson.
That was, yeah. We're warming up, Jez. You'll be ready for tomorrow night.
I'm shit at quizzes, honestly.
Yeah, so am I. You know, I'm shit at them as well. And I've been asked to stop
writing them, though, Jez. I'll tell you that, mate. You're good at writing them, that's for sure.
I can write them. Writing them's easy, isn't it? But I'm all right on quizzes on Arsenal. When you start going down the other road, like lovely little Gracie's doing a quiz tomorrow night, and I said, look, give us a heads up to all of us on what we need to look at, and she's like told us. That's it. All she's done is tell us categories. That's it.
Yeah.
So you know, Kenny, encyclopedia of football. Right, he is. That guy is unbelievable. His knowledge of football in general is. I've never known a man like him. And
he's unbelievable. And do you know what, Jez? I have to say, when you say to him, I must tell I think I'm friends with him on Twitter, but I don't know if I can DM him or something like that. He mustn't have that thing. But let him know, because I'd love to bring him onto a Friday night show and we could just bring back the years and talk about stuff, because I love hearing Kenny's thought on stuff as well. Like, you know what I mean? Tell him he's more than welcome if he wants, so no pressure or anything, like, you know.
Kenny will. He he just loves talking about Arsenal.
Yeah.
I've been on other channels and I've said, "Oh, Kenny, people have asked you to jump in. He'll come in." He's been on Gracie May's channel and all that, and he goes on other channels that I don't go on. But I think the thing that fascinates me with Kenny is, I know I've been around Arsenal for a long time, but his knowledge is his knowledge retention is unreal, unbelievable, and I just think, how can you remember all this?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Seriously, and it just I just love it. Fair. I know tomorrow. I was up against him 3 weeks ago when Lee did the quiz. I was two behind him on the first round, and then that was it. Bye.
Gone.
Bye. It was a Ferrari against a bloody. See you, Jez. Bye.
Yeah, he's a machine, Aaron. Well,
54 points to 28, I think it was.
Jesus Christ. Well, even I done the quiz as well. Now, I love doing quiz, and I love being honest because I want to know myself how much I know. Do you know what I mean? And I was doing that. I think I only got something like 18 or something like that in the quiz. I was just there. Jesus, thank God I wasn't on that. But what I'm planning to do for next week is do another show like today, except have these slides up. So instead of my ugly mush, you two beautiful gentlemen, we'll have the slides up and stuff like that. Because what I'm going to do is I'm getting a new camera and I have my internet sorted out as well, finally. So it'll be a better stream. And I'm going to get slides up and I have a new camera and a microphone and all sorted out. So we'll be able to get slides up and it'll be much better next week. Lads, I'm going to have to wrap this up. I don't have to, but I want to because the pub is calling me and my phone is hopping. There's a load of pints of Guinness down in the local pub waiting for me. So, lads, I really, really appreciate you guys coming on because this show cannot happen without you guys and the knowledge that you guys have. And you don't realise, you might think, oh, it's nothing. It's not to me. And me personally, I'm just saying this for me. And I'm sure I'm talking about a lot of people in the chat because everyone loves to hear the old Arsenal, how good we were, why we're such a big club, and why we are a huge club. And that's why there's so many fans all over the world. We're not just, we weren't born before Wenger, just when Wenger's era. There's history behind us. There's so many people around the world that want to go to Arsenal every week and can't. That are going to pay lots of money to get over and see these games, including myself, and I'm going to go over to about 1 or 2 more games before the end of the season. And so I really do appreciate your time and effort that you're doing on my channel. And Warren, thanks a million for your slides. It's a pity we can't get them up, but we will next week. We'll work on it during the week, myself and yourself.
I'm going to tomorrow, after I've done my match day live show, I'm going to spend some time looking at StreamYard to see if I can work out how, if you're a guest on the channel, how you can get the slides up.
Yeah, so we can just back it up for next week if possible. Warren, I'll just while you're talking there, just for everyone who's in the stream there, and before we wrap up, please subscribe to Warren's Team Talks and check him out. Warren, what do you have up there?
Well, tomorrow I'm doing a show. I always do it on a Saturday afternoon. It's for the 3 o'clock kickoffs. There ain't many tomorrow, so I'm doing it based on games in League One and League Two. So that's going to be a massive challenge for me because I don't know anything about the players or anything. So it's going to be interesting, but it'll be good fun. I enjoy doing it because it's usually a good laugh. That's the main aim of it. It's just to have a bit of a laugh and a chat with anyone who wants to come on. Do you know what I mean? So,
what's your channel, Warren?
It's Warren's Team Talk.
There it is. There, see under his name. So
I've done videos in the past about Arsenal, my memories of watching Arsenal, like starting from 1972. My first game was the one where Jimmy Hill had to run the line against Liverpool. And then there was another one where I talk about different grounds that I've been to, watch other matches, because I went around as well watching Arsenal and I watched Maidstone United as well when they were in the Football League, which was mad. It was absolutely...
I went to that game.
It was mad. But yeah, so... Yeah, that's tomorrow. So... And Del Boy, I'm going to try and see if I can work out how we can get these slides up if someone's a guest.
Yeah.
Warren, you must have gone down to Millwall your time.
I did twice, mate. Bloody scary. I remember being at Highbury that day. They came up and smashed the place up.
Yeah.
Oh,
going down deep south.
One of my old workmates, she was born and brought up in Islington, and she said that her dad was like making them all lie on the floor in the flat because all the windows were going in along the street and whatnot.
Yeah.
This is absolutely horrendous. But yeah, going down Millwall was horrendous. I remember, sorry, I'm just going to tell this story quickly, Del.
Go ahead.
The first time I went, it was at the Old Den, and it was the time of the fanzines, and I wanted to get a Millwall fanzine, right? And there was this like passageway that you had to go down to get into the away end, right? And there was this fella selling the Millwall fanzine. So I went over to him and like bought the fanzine, and I thought, just let me get the fanzine and then go on my way. Don't engage me in conversation. And he said to me, so who do you support then, mate? And I thought, oh, fucking hell, don't ask me that question. So I just said to him, who do you bloody think? And then I just shot down that little alleyway and into the way-in. But Jesus Christ, it was pandemonium. It's
I'll tell you what, going down there is a bad day out. It's a fucking bad day out. I made the mistake. Going there. We were in the FA Cup playing them, and we went down there. And for people that don't know, the old Den, going the away end, you had literally one door. It was like an old wooden door you had to go through. So you're queuing up to get through, seats, ticket, and stewards and shit like that. And I went down with a crew at the time that I knew them, but I wasn't really associated with them, if you get my meaning. I grew up with them, drunk with them and everything. But that particular day, I got involved in transportation with him. And big mistake. They were calling it all out. And all of a sudden, the old Millwall intercity crew turned up, and it was absolute carnage. It was almost as bad, and it probably worse actually, of getting involved with the Tottenham crew up there, and it was awful, absolutely awful. Never want to see that ever again.
No, exactly. Jez, do you know why it is that Middlesbrough hate us so much?
Middlesbrough?
Yeah, because I've had trouble at Middlesbrough. I went to Middlesbrough the year we beat them 1-0 and Martin Hayes scored. They were coming up to the coach, like trying to smash the windows, spitting at us, and they had a real strong dislike of Arsenal. It kicked off at Darlington Station as well. There was a massive scrap.
I don't know that one, mate. I honestly don't know that.
No, apparently they can't stand Arsenal. I don't know what it is. I know Brian Clough didn't like us very much.
Brian Clough, not anyone.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I'll tell you another crew that didn't like us, and we were on the I think I've told you this before. If I have, shut me up. Me and 12 other guys, we used to have this rotten old transit minibus we used to go away in. And this thing was shocking. How it got through an MOT, dear God. Anyway, we were going up to Man City, it was. And we stopped at Blue Ball services on the M1, like you do. And you used to get all the fans going away, and all the fans coming to London, stop there. And we got out and we went into the Blue Ball services for something to eat and a cup of tea. And it's all load of this coach load, fucking Port Vale, the Valiants, VCs they were called, the Valiant crew turned up. Fucking, there was like 50 of them. And they got off. And of course, being stupid like we had Arsenal flags and all that hanging about. And, well, we weren't actually in the bus at the time, the little transit we had. When we came back out, there was nothing left of it.
You know.
Tyres gone, windows gone. Yeah. And they were going down to play Leighton Orient that day. And I thought, what? So a couple of guys said, well, what the fuck are we upset them for? And we're like, all right. When was the last time we played Port Vale? And I really scratched my head. I said, I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, unbeknownst to us, in this van, 30 yards away, was another crew of them. And they got out and they were like coming over, and I thought, oh, God, here we go. And they started kicking in and everything. And it was, it's just stupid. Then the police turned up and everything. And we thought, here we go. Anyway, nothing happened. Police sent them on their way. And the police guys come over to us and said, you can't leave this van here. And we're going, well, what the fuck are we going to do? We've got no tyres. Fucking windows are all kicked out. What are we going to do then? And they were going to do us, honestly, they were going to do us for leaving the van in the car park at the Blue Ball services. So we're all going, anybody got the AA then? No, nobody's got the AA. So I said, well, someone better fucking join pretty quick, because we're going to get done up big time here, because the police are going to take this down. Anyway, no, couldn't get hold of that. So we had to pay this bloody firm to come and put it on a trailer, right, and take it to a garage in Milton Keynes. Yeah. We then had to get a minibus, yeah, to take us to Milton Keynes, and we had to try and get a train up to Man City, up to Manchester to see the game. And of course, when we got there, we didn't get there till half time, and we couldn't get in.
Oh, fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. That's a great story, Jez.
Really?
Come here.
That was good old days when, you know.
I have your bus here.
Yeah.
That's it, is it?
The one we had.
Look, guys, I'm going to have to wrap it up there. I have to leg it. My phone is bleeding, hopping here.
Get down the pub, mate. Get them Guinnesses down.
Yeah, it's my birthday drink, so the boys are all down there and a few pints on order for me, you know what I mean? So, look, thanks a million again, everyone, for tuning in and liking and subscribing. And please check Warren's channel out as well. And he's doing the stream tomorrow as well, and hit the notification. Thanks a million, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Take care. Go on, say it, Jez.
Arteta out, you prick.